Hello everyone, welcome back to another one of my little crafty how-tos. Today I am focusing on one of my favourite little Lawn Fawn stamp sets, the Year 10 On Point. It is adorable, I love this little cactus, and I made this birthday card for my mum. So here we go, this is how I made it. I'm going to start out with stamping my little cactus and a couple of flowers. I then coloured this cutie in. I used some of my regular alcohol markers. There's nothing special about these ones. They have no colours to blend them with, but I do tend to get a decent blend or a gradient colour with this one if I just go over certain areas a couple of times. I then use my E13 and E15 markers to colour in the pot. I use some pink and purple alcohol markers to colour in the flowers. Again, these ones aren't meant for blending, but they do the trick. I then took my white Jelly Roll pen, this one is the 0.8, to add some cute little details to my little cactus and the flowers. It was then time to make the background, so I used a purple, blue and teal coloured ink, blending them together until I got the background that I was after. Once I was happy that everything was blended together, I took my watercolor pigments, these are so pretty, and used the lightest white gold. I wet it down with some water until it got to like a bit of a soupy consistency, and then I splattered that all over the background to make it look like a bit of a starry sky. You can see why these are some of my favourite things to work with because they are so shiny and so pretty. There is a huge piece of black cardstock on the front of this card. I used the Galactic cover by Mama Elephant. I used the reversed stitched scallop circles, that's a tricky one to say, to cut out a window in the front of this black piece of cardstock, and I love how perfect all those little holes make it look like a starry night sky. My little cactus needed a hill to sit on, so I used some light brown ink with some dark brown ink splatters over the top to make the ground. I used the Stitch Hillside border dies to make a little hill, and then I used that scallop circle again to cut out the perfect shaped piece to fit in that window. When I did this card in a different colorway and used craft cardstock as the main piece on the front, I did a lot of little white accents all over that, and I feel like it looked amazing. So I decided to try it on the black as well, and I'm really happy with the result. As you can see, things were really starting to come together now. I found a piece of white scrap cardstock and splattered it with the same colours that I used for the background. I then took those beautiful watercolor pigments again to add some shimmer. While that was drying, I nearly forgot to add a party hat, so I went and stamped that out and coloured it in. Using some clear embossing ink, I stamped the sentiment, making sure that I used all the words except point because I was going to cut that out of my stitch dies instead. I used some black glitter embossing powder. I am really not great with this powder. I don't know if it's just the powder or if it's me, but I did manage to get a fairly clear sentiment this time. I then glued my little hillside and stuck it in there, making sure it lined up with the scallops. I used some double-sided foam tape for the back of my cactus to give it a little bit of dimension. And glued on that adorable little party hat. I then added the flowers on and around the cactus. It was then time to complete the sentiment. I used the Oliver's Stitched ABC die set to cut out the word point. This is my favourite die set. I cannot recommend it enough. I think if you get it, you will use it a million times. Once I had that lined up, it was time to then put the other little bit of the sentiment on top. I used a whole bunch of double-sided tape to secure this card front onto the card base. And there we have it. How quick and easy was that card? I love this design and I really feel like you can use it with any of the little stamp sets in the middle. I hope you liked this video. If you did, please don't forget to like and subscribe. I can't wait to share more cutesy crafts with you. Bye!